So today's lesson is pH curve, pH curves, pH वक्र. So what we should know first is how to draw pH curve. Let's take very simple acid-base reaction. Let's take first one for a 0.1 m HCl solution, Cl 100 milliliter. You add 0.1 m sodium hydroxide solution. So it is like in the conical flask, there is the known solution. Concentration 0.1 m. Solution is HCl. Volume is 100 ml. So the solution using a biurate, you add 0.1 m Na oil. As we learned earlier, to show the endpoint, there should be a pH indicator. Acid-base indicator should be there. That indicator may show color change when endpoint reaches. When it sees that reaction is totally finished. So at the endpoint, it shows a color change. Then we totally stop adding the base. Okay. So the thing we are going to learn today is how to draw a pH curve. This is important, and this may not a direct theory in our syllabuses, but still this will help you in new questions, because new questions are based on practical aspects. So this is important. So when we draw a pH curve, y-axis is pH, x-axis is added volume. So here added volume is base, strong base. Here we add strong base. Sodium hydroxide is added to the solution. That is what we are doing. So initially, now and remember, in the curve we show the pH of the conical flask. We show the pH of conical flask, and we show the added volume of this base. These are the two things. We should always remember pH value shown is pH from the conical flask. Added volume means addition of the base, sodium hydroxide. Okay. So initially, what is the pH then? Initially in the conical flask, there is only the strong acid. There is only HCl. Ne? When there is only HCl, you can take the pH value. How can we take the pH value? This lesson is done earlier. pH equals minus log 10 H plus concentration. So before you add any base amount in the solution, there is only HCl. HCl with 0.1 concentration. So H plus in 1 HCl, there is only 1 H plus. So H plus concentration is the same. We can take pH equals minus log. H plus concentration 0.1 means 1 into 10 to the power of minus 1. That means pH equals 1. So initially, before you add anything, initially pH of the solution is 1. Actually, if you get this into your exam and they ask to draw a pH cycle, no need to do any calculation or anything. Just remember initial, before adding any amount of the base, initial pH is 1. Initial pH of the solution is 1. Okay, so you should start the curve from 1. You should start the curve from 1. Then always, in this acid-base reaction, a rapid pH range occurs. Remember, the rapid pH range can be taken. Now, initial pH is 1. Add 2 to 1. That means 3. So, rapid pH range starts at 3. Rapid pH range starts at 3. Then, after sodium hydroxide HCl totally react, finally you add 1 or 2 more drops of sodium hydroxide to the solution. Then only color change occurs and we stop the reaction. So when we stop the reaction, there is sodium hydroxide with 0.1 m concentration. Although the final volume changes, we don't think that final volume changes by adding sodium hydroxide. That's an assumption in this. We just think finally there is only sodium hydroxide with 0.1 concentration. Then there will be 0.1 moles per cubic decimeter concentration of OH minus ions, hydroxide ions. So then we know POH is 1. When POH is 1, pH will be 30. So final pH of the solution will be 30. Final will be 30. And rapid pH range is always 13 minus 2. That means 11. In the middle of rapid pH range, there is the equivalence point. Here, this is a strong acid, strong base reaction, so it's around 7. That's the story. That's the story. And you may remember that we learned 4 general curves. If they don't give you any data, you don't need to do calculation, anything. You can draw the general curve and you will see that the general curve we have drawn is the same as this calculated graph. Okay, you can take this. Then I'll show you how to calculate the added volume to totally neutral the solution. I'll show that. තව එකක් ඉගෙන ගන්න තියෙනවා. There's only another one thing to know, that is how to take the volume. Now when it totally when the reaction totally finishes, or when the system reaches neutral pH, we should know how much sodium hydroxide we should add. There's you can take moles and you can do a calculation, but when we do these type of pH curve drawing, we have very easy method. Very easy. H plus to OH minus ratio in a reaction is always 1:1. Always 1:1. H plus OH minus reacts always 1:1 ratio. Then H plus concentration here is 0.1. OH minus concentration here also 0.1. H plus volume is 100. OH minus volume we don't know, we need it. We need how much OH minus should be added to make it neutral. Then take the final in this way. 1 into 0.1 into 100. What is the value? 1 into 0.1 into 100 is 10. 10. Then here also by the multiplication of the final value should become as 10. To make the final answer 10, what should be V? To make the final answer 10, what should be V? So you will see V should be 100. V should be 100. So that means the added volume is 100 milliliters. That means to make this neutralized, you should add 100 milliliters of sodium hydroxide. That is the short method. We can get the added volume. You can take this down and we will go to the next question. Okay. Graph එක ඇඳපු හරි ඒක ඇඳේ මෙහෙම. මුලින්ම ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න අපිට ඕනේ මෙන්න මෙයාගේ pH. මුලදීම ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මෙතන graph එකේ තනිකරම අඳින්නේ මෙන්න මේ conical flask එකේ pH එක විතරයි. එතන වෙන variation එක තමයි මේ glass එකේ පෙන්නන්නේ. graph එකේ පෙන්නන්නේ. ඒත් initially මේ sodium hydroxide බිඳුවක්වත් වැටෙන්නේ නැතුව තියෙද්දි මේක බිඳුවක්වත් වැටෙන්නේ නැතුව තියෙද්දි මුලදීම pH එක ගන්න හරිම ලේසි. 0.1 මවුල ඝන ඩෙසිමීටරයට HCl 100ක්. 0.1 m HCl 100. So volume is not needed because nothing is mixed. Initial concentration is 0.1. So pH will be 1. Initial pH is 1. ඉතින් මෙතන මම added එක බිඳුවේදී initial pH 1. හරි මේක initial pH 1 එක හරි මෙතනින් පටන් ගන්න. කොහොමත් අර rapid pH range එක කොහොමත් පහළම pH එකට දෙකක් එකතු කරන්න ඕන. උඩම අපිට එන pH එකෙන් දෙකක් අඩු කරන්න ඕන. ඒක නිකන් පොඩි law එකක් වගේ. එතකොට 1 + 2 3 නේ. එතකොට අපිට sure අපි දන්නේ නැති වුණත් volume එක කීයද කියලා ඒක අපි පස්සේනේ හැදුවේ. ඒක අපිට වැඩක් නැහැ. rapid pH range එක පටන් ගන්න 3 වලදී. ඒක sure. එතකොට 3ත් mark කරා. 1 උත් mark කළා 3ත් mark. අපි දන්නවා අර බේස් එක දාලා ඇසිඩ් එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම නියුට්‍රල් වෙලා. තව වැඩිපුර බේස් බිඳුවක් වැටුණට පස්සේ pH එක අපිට ගත්තයි. සෝඩියම් හයිඩ්‍රොක්සයිඩ් කන්සන්ට්‍රේෂන් එකක් තියෙනවනේ මෙතන. එතනින් OH- කන්සන්ට්‍රේෂන් එක ගත්තයි. OH- කන්සන්ට්‍රේෂන් එක 0.1 කියන්නේ pOH කීයද? හදන්න ඕනේ මනෝමයෙන් ගත්තකින් OH- කන්සන්ට්‍රේෂන් එක 0.1 pOH එකයිනේ. pOH එක නම් pH 13යි. pOH එකයි නම් pH 13යි. ඇයි ටෝටල් එක 14 වෙනවා කියලා අපි එදා ඉගෙන ගත්තා. එතකොට ඔක කොහොම හරි අන්තිම pH එක 13 එන්න ඕන ඉවර වෙන pH. එතකොට 13 නම් අන්තිම එක rapid pH range එක තියෙන්න ඕන 13 - 2. 13 අඩු කිරීම 2. 11. ඊට පස්සේ නිකන් කර්ව් එක අදිනවා. 1 to 3 යනවා. 3 to 11 rapid pH range killing ඉර. ආයි 11 to 30 පොඩ්ඩක් දකුණු පැත්තට යනවා කරලා අදිනවා. එච්චර. ඊට පස්සේ වැඩේට දානවා වොලියුම් එක අර නියුට්‍රල් වෙන වොලියුම් එක හෙව්වේ අපි අර දකුණු පැත්තේ තියෙන ෂෝට් කට් එක ඒ මෙතන. clear clearද නැත්නම් මොකක්ද? So this is how we draw pH curve. මෙහෙම තමයි pH curve එකක් අඳින්නේ.